Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Travis Kelce said on his podcast that he will not make any decisions on if he will return to play for the Chiefs next year or retire from the NFL. Kelce did statistically have his worst year since his rookie year in the NFL. Over in the NBA, Kevin Durant became the 8th player in NBA history to reach 30,000 points, hitting the mark in the third quarter of their game against the Grizzlies. KD is now 1,400 points away from catching Wilt Chamberlain for 7th all-time in scoring. The Blazers close out the first half of their regular season tonight. They're taking on the Nuggets in Denver. No DeAndre Ayton or Scoot Henderson for Portland tonight. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set at 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Over in college basketball, number 3 Duke takes on new ACC foe, the Cal Golden Bears in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Freshman phenom Cooper Flagg leads the way for the Blue Devils, averaging 19.5 points per game. Duke is favored by 23.5 points. Tip-off at 6. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. This is Dan.
Good afternoon. Hey, welcome in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Danny and Dusty with you. Will Ortner's over there. Jeff Rust has got sick kids, man. The germs are out there. Germs are out there. And the snow's going to be out there soon, allegedly. Where's our strength here in our confidence rankings of snow shutting down Portland?
Look, Dave Selesky, noted beef,
K2,
was very adamant.
Very adamant
to me.
Okay,
that snow's coming.
The 85% chance, according to
he said it's coming.
The iPhone.
Yeah,
it's coming.
But Snowpocalypse.
But here's bright spots for us. High of 35 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Science told me 32 is freezing.
Yeah, the only problem with that is, does it drop back down?
And then you get then it's just a sheet of ice. And then 43 degrees on Friday.
So it'll be gone quick.
So yeah, we get these upsies, downsies, insies, outies. We're gonna get a little bit of snow and ice. That's my weather report. I just hope. Look, this is the worst thing that happens here. Is that, and it seems to happen all the time. Can't the snow just happen overnight for us? Just like, not in the most inopportune times. Like, it'll happen right at rush hour traffic. It's like, hey, by the way, here it comes. And it all happens at once. And then all of our roads get shut down for hours. And it's like gridlock, 8 hours of traffic jam. Like the last big one that we had, I left right when the show got over. Russ left 20 minutes after me. We lived like a mile apart.
Yeah. It was a couple hours difference, wasn't it?
It took me 25 minutes to get home. It took him 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that was a 20-minute difference between our departure time here. And it just seems like that's what we always get here.
We bolted out of there.
Yeah, dude. I'm out.
We had Outsiders in 2018. We were the only ones in the NBC building left. It was me, Joe, Shane, and then our two folks up at the booth. Everybody else from KGW, everyone else had gone home because it was snowing so heavy, and we're like, "Why are we still here?"
Yeah, good call.
Why are we still here? And
well, got to do it.
Well, we ended up leaving. I was driving a truck back then. I'm like, "Hey guys, I live in Tualatin. I gotta go. I gotta make it up to the top of the hill." Joe and Shane got stuck on 405 for, I want to say, 5 hours. Because it's a semi jackknifed both ways.
That's brutal.
It was like, oh God,
that'll happen.
This city does not handle the snow.
Well, our roads aren't prepared for it. We don't have.
I will say, The de-icer. Shouts to moving to de-icer full-time now. I know they're never going to throw down salt here because people freak out. The environment, if you throw down salt twice a year, I promise you it doesn't do anything.
Well, it's not as much the environment, it's our cars, too.
Even again.
Just eats up our cars.
If you do it all the time, yes.
Yeah.
But it's also a place that once you put it down and it rains, it's salt.
Here's one for you.
It goes away.
Here's one for you. I was talking, and I don't know this. I don't know this to be true because I'm not a roadman. I'm not a road paver. I was talking to a guy who dabbles in that industry, and he was just saying, well, one of the big problems that we have here is that what we make, the composition of our roads is also not conducive to snow and ice. It's conducive to rain.
It's porous.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, not a roadsman. Don't know. I don't really know what he was talking about, but it made sense.
Well, no, you have to.
When he explained it to me,
Yeah.
it made sense to me in that the composite. And if you go and you drive like in Montana or Colorado or Idaho, whatever, and you look at the roads, they feel a bit different when you're driving on them. They look different. Yeah, that right there is.
Well, it's like in
bingo, bango, bongo. Made sense.
Very hot places, like they don't use we use the tar to patch over. They don't do that in
Don't know that.
Western Arizona.
It's
Because
going to be melty.
it melts and it just doesn't do anything.
That's right.
So
That's right.
You do have to use this is we need Bill Nye the Science Guy here to talk about the different compositions of asphalt.
Yeah.
I want to meet the guy that knows that. There's somebody in the text lines actually.
Well,
this
yeah,
is
that's
what,
why I say I'm not a roadsman. I'm sure a
don't wanna
roadsman
meet
is out there that understands it. What?
I don't want to meet that guy.
Why?
That guy doesn't seem cool.
They're interesting.
I disagree.
All right.
I feel like that guy kind of sucks.
No, dude. He just works in a different orbit as you. He just
Well,
understands that.
If you work in that industry, maybe I don't know, dude. I don't know.
They're all
I
different
don't.
types.
I don't think that that's a cool.
There are all
So-
different types of asphalt: hot mix, cold mix, porous.
See?
I was right.
I don't know.
There's a cold brew asphalt.
Warm mix
That's what I'm
and
talking about.
dense graded.
Sure. Yeah. And apparently our roads, not so fast, my friend.
Hmm.
So we're burying the lead here. Yesterday, I had one of the weirdest, I'm not going to say the weirdest interaction. No, it was one of the weirdest. The weirdest interaction I've ever had was when I walked out of the building and there was a mannequin head and a bunch of cases of beer just stacked up. And the mannequin head had a mohawk and it had a QR code on it that said scan me. Didn't want to do that. That felt like very deathy.
Yeah, that feels like you're giving away your bank account.
Yesterday, I walked out of the building and there was a man who looked like he was a member of ZZ Top. And we told this story on Primetime yesterday. He stopped me and he goes, Isaac and Zook in there? And I was like, yes, they are. He's like, I need to give him something. I was like, yeah, probably not. I said, well, what's going on? Can't really just let you walk into the building. And he ended up, he goes, I heard Mike Lynch needs some help. And I was like, Mike Lynch does need some help. Yep. And this man reached into his backpack and pulled out a brown paper sack that said to Mike Lynch on it. I was like, oh boy.
You not opening that one?
Where are we going here? And he said, he pulled out a newspaper clipping of him, and it was a sketch of him playing a guitar, looking like ZZ Top. And then he goes, I was like, oh, where are we going now? Where's this thing going? And he goes, I want to spread my happiness with him. And I was like, okay. And then he shows me what's inside the bag. And when I say it was like wads of money, it was a bag full of cash for Mike Lynch.
What?
Yeah, just singles, just ones. And from what we could deduce, it's about like $300. This man, who is a street performer, and he listened, and he's just like the Mike Lynch, battling ALS right now, still needs people's help, right? This dude is like, I wanted to spread my happiness. I make people happy with my music. I want to spread my happiness to Mike Lynch. And I was like, holy smokes. And I was like, thank you. What's your name? He goes, nope. Just want to just spread happiness. Deuces. He was gone.
This was yesterday?
This was yesterday. As I was leaving the show. And then so
That's crazy.
that turned into, what do I do with a sack full of cash now that I'm supposed to get to Mike Lynch?
Deposit in Venmo?
No, we figured it out after Souk wanted to go to the strip club and then change that to maybe we go to the casino because what's better than $300? $600.
Exactly. Doubling it.
What's better than $600? Maybe $1,200.
Yeah, 12,000 even.
And then I reminded him of karma and karmic justice.
He doesn't believe that.
And no, he did on this one. He did on this one because it would be, when you think of the worst things that you could do, that would probably be it.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
money freely given to help somebody desperately in need dealing with a crippling illness.
Like we were talking about this, like I mentioned that when you hear of these fake charities, right?
Mhm.
It's like they're stealing money from people who are donating to a cause.
Mhm.
But that cause is like, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
It's not really real. We don't know the exact people that they're stealing from oftentimes because a lot of these charities, they're just not even to serve anybody that people are stealing from. This one is like very specific and we know the person very well. You know, that would be some super bad karma coming your way.
Probably.
So there was a business card that said Jeek Cesus. So like a play on words of like maybe seek Jesus there.
Yeah.
So Jeek Cesus, thank you, ZZ Top player man.
Shout out ZZ Top.
That was badass. And it went from one of those things where I was like, am I gonna die to this is really
awesome.
cool. And we also had this discussion on the show, like the world working in mysterious ways. I might have been the only person working in this building that would have stopped and actually talked to that man. I feel like you would have just been like, nope, because you have ZZ Top looking dude with a hood up, sunglasses on, and he says, hey, you would have been like, out, nope, not going to do it. You may have just cold cocked him because he approached you too rapidly and aggressively. Okay. Isaac,
you're not wrong.
Isaac would have just run.
Yeah.
Buck would have been like, nah, he's out.
Yeah.
Souk would have been on the same path as you. I think like maybe I am the only person that would have walked out of that building at that time and been like, I'll hear you out on this.
Yeah, because I didn't leave too much before you, I don't think.
You left after me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought your car was still here when I left.
You left before me. You left actually a while because I had to stick around for a while because then we had to figure out what we were going to do with the money. We figured the boss was the best person. It obviously wasn't going to be Sukanik because of the strippers and casino conversation that we had. It wasn't going to be Isaac because one, he would not want that responsibility to begin with.
No.
And two, he has left town. So I wasn't going to be taking around this money in a brown paper sack. So we left it with the big boss.
There you go.
Cooley. Yeah. And so it
went in the kitty
safely. And then he went to, I called Cooley because he wasn't here. So we put it in the vault. And Cooley goes, wait, there's nothing like else in this bag, is there? And I was like, good question. Valid question. Don't think so. But I feel like if you're given a bag full of money, you're not going to lace it with bad stuff.
Well, I mean,
so
there might be some good stuff in there.
Maybe.
He did want to spread some happiness.
He did want to spread some happiness. And by golly, he did.
Little money with some angel dust.
Yeah. Yeah. So people...
What happened to PCP?
I think they just rename it all, right?
It's still out. It's a thing. People are still doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like we don't have enough PCP anymore. Not enough people.
I think
peeling the
meth
skin
kind
off
of took
their...
over.
That's true.
Disagree. Yeah. I think we've had plenty of PCP.
Yeah, no, I just don't have enough people tearing their skin off their face anymore.
That was crocodile.
No,
that's dude.
That's
it's all of it,
peeling.
dude. It's all of it, bro.
Like it actually just peels on its own.
They still do Dare. drug abuse resistance
That
education.
was part of the things they got
Oh.
rid of. Yeah.
Did you do
That's-
Dare?
I think I'm the last one who did Dare.
Oh,
Because
so
we
does that
did
mean
Dare
we
and then it was
won?
gone.
Does that mean we won the war on drugs?
No, we gave up.
No, it's over.
We
no,
won
we,
it?
we
No,
quit.
no, it's done.
Is this like Vietnam? Like we won Vietnam? Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Well, I think we can
We
go
beat
back to
drugs.
you were
Wink,
very,
wink,
very
nod,
young
nod.
on this one, Will, but when George W. Bush went on the aircraft carrier with Mission Accomplished, that went on 20 more years. Still
Yeah.
ongoing.
It's a great meme.
We got it. We got it.
Now
Mission
watch this
accomplished.
drive.
Mission accomplished. Then Danny spent the next decade of his life in that conflict.
Little column A, little column B.
a little bit of each there. Mission accomplished. We got this thing done. But I will say, it is amazing the reach of this station and all of our great listeners that we have. They do care.
Yeah.
Because if you were to say what is the fans' demographic, that guy's not it.
No.
And by golly, he was like, you know what? Somebody needs some help.
It crosses all boundaries.
I listen to this station. I'm gonna do this damn thing. And he's going to bat for our man Mike Lynch. That's badass, man.
And in that specific case, it's very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I didn't get stabbed or shot.
Yeah.
Which was on the table when he reached into his backpack.
Look, man, I see somebody reach into their backpack looking a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's getting taken to the ground.
But he was
non-threatening.
on this, like, nothing about this guy was threatening. And so I was like, yeah, okay. I believe you. And nobody says, I want to do something for Mike Lynch, and then, pulls out a gun and shoots me.
Well,
if he would have said,
unless Lynch has a real axe to grind against you.
if he would have said, yeah. That's a good point.
See,
Lynch and I are on good terms, though.
Didn't consider they might go Goodfellas
Lynch
on
and I
you.
still love each other.
Yeah.
If it would have come out of the gate with, I have something for Isaac and Suk, and then he went straight to the bag, then it's like, I have no idea where this is going. Because those guys, you want to talk about some dudes who have made bellies full of laughs and also burnt some bridges, it's those two men right there.
No. All those bridges are still fully functioning and supported.
I love it. All right. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
We shall.
Yeah. The Portland Trailblazers, have you heard of them?
Well, I dabble.
You dabble in them. We got some news on the Portland Trailblazers.
We do.
A couple of big injuries happened in the last time they played the Denver Nuggets on Monday night. We have an update to one of them, and it pertains to this weekend's events as well. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
The Definitive Podcast.
Pacers wrap up the unofficial halfway point of the season tonight in Denver against the Nuggets, the second of a baseball series with the Nugs, where they got, hammered 147-117 in the first one on Monday night.
Yeah.
In Denver tonight, and then it is 1-2-3 Cancun. We go to All-Star break. DeAndre Ayton not going to play tonight.
No, we still have not received official word other than the non-press release, the social media push of he will be out tonight due to a left calf strain, but that does kind of confirm that it is a calf strain. He had imaging yesterday morning. They have not sent out the press release. I haven't heard back on anything just yet as far as severity or anything, but what I've been told is that don't be surprised if he misses a prolonged period of time.
Okay.
Now,
we knew that. And it looked like DeAndre Ayton was not going to be playing for a while.
No, when you reach down for non-contact and grab your calf, I'd say it's probably going to be a couple weeks.
How long do you think 7'1" DeAndre Ayton's calf is?
Really long?
Oh. Scientific.
Really long?
Yeah. I just think about your calf muscle, and then when you're 7 feet tall, it's like.
And DA's a long-legged guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's some bigs that are, I wouldn't call him like super high-waisted.
Yeah.
Like Zach Collins had legs for days. His hips were like a mile off the ground. It's very weird. That's why he gets pushed around. No, it's a real thing that you look at. Like you want like a ratio. Like if guys are real high waisted, you get knocked around. Your core strength is a lot higher and it's a lot more off balance.
I never really have thought about that with like big guys and their muscle strains though. It's like when you're 7'1", your calf.
It's a lot of calf.
It's a lot of calf.
Yeah.
So that's not a surprise, but we have actually more news on Scoot Henderson, who rolled his ankle.
Yeah.
We gave the update yesterday at the end of the show that,
he's going to be out today.
Not going to be playing today.
Yeah.
He is not going to be playing in the Rising Stars Challenge either on All-Star Weekend this weekend.
A Denver Nugget is actually going to replace him now. Julian Strother of the Denver Nuggets will replace him. Not surprising. It's a bummer for Scoot in the sense of like he's been playing well and like this. Sound like a jerk here. He didn't earn it last year. Like he was a name coming out of the draft, and you're like, let's put him out there because like
it was more of an indictment of what the draft class was last year.
Not just that. I also think the thing about Scoot is he is magnetic. Like his personality. There's a very stark difference between talking to Shea and talking to Scoot.
Yeah.
Like their lockers are, they're 2 lockers apart. When I'm talking to one of them versus talking to the other, there's an energy shift. There's a certain level of like Q rating. When it's Scoot, it's like the lights are always on, it's go time. With Shea, it's a lot more, so like that part of it, like Scoot makes things exciting.
Yeah. It's we were together like white on rice.
Yeah.
What?
But that's what I mean. Like there's always like he's got the juice when it comes to that stuff. I remember it was late one night after a game.
As he gets older, he's going to be like Yogi Berra.
Oh yeah. No, here's a perfect example. So we're sitting there and he's got these like stretchy leather pants that he is struggling to get on.
There's the first red flag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're kind of giving him a little bit of hell. And as he's doing it, he starts singing dreidel, 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 dreidel made of clay. And I'm like, what? This is in like, I want to say March of last year.
Okay.
I'm like, Scoot, what the hell? He's like, I don't know, man. It's just a banger. And he just goes back to sing a Hanukkah song. I'm just like,
okay.
What?
Maybe he watched South Park. Maybe he watched South Park.
I don't know, but it's one of those things that was so, like he wasn't just humming it. Like he just started just belting it.
All right.
And I'm like, and for those that aren't aware, songs being belted out in the Blazers locker room, not uncommon.
Okay.
Whether it's Scoot or DA. Those guys, they sing. DA, DA's coming because he'll be scream singing a song down the hall before he comes to the locker room.
That's weird.
And it's so far off key. Yeah. It's so off key.
Yeah, well, yeah, scream yelling a song that is never going to be on key.
No. And then he'll start actually singing.
Okay.
And it's just he announces his presence like that. But all of this is to say that I feel like Scoot did earn it this year, and he was on the way, and he has been on the way up, and he has been performing better.
He was.
And it sucks that anytime anybody gets injured, you see these pop up, and you're like, man.
Oh boy.
But what does that mean just for tonight? Well, you're very likely going to see Shaden Sharp and Donovan Clingan start.
Okay.
To close out the season before.
And
the
Donovan
All-Star
Clingan
break.
is going to get a lot of minutes.
Well, he's going to get what he can handle.
Well, he handled 21 minutes the other night, which is
24 is what I would say that they're probably aiming for.
and it was 21 minutes with DeAndre Ayton still playing 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
So, no Robert Williams.
Questionable.
All right. No Robert Williams.
But I would expect not. You might
No
see
Robert Williams.
you might see some doo-wop tonight, just so they get a little bit. Look, I love Jabari, but you might need just a little bit of a bigger body to eat up some minutes.
All right.
So
How much are the Nuggets
what's
favored?
the spread?
Yeah, how much Nugs favored by here tonight?
It's a good call. They were 9.5 last game.
Yeah, that might balloon after a 11.5 tonight. 11.5.
That's not as big as I thought.
Over under 233. Based on the first game, Denver may score that.
There are some lines in the NBA tonight. Sweet Jesus. The Thunder are favored by 14.5 over the Heat. The Lakers and Rockets are both favored by 9.5 over the Jazz and the Suns. I mean, there are some. The Raptors are 13.5 point dogs to the Cavs. Oh my God. 12.5 point dogs to the Hornets, the Magic, and the Magic have been horrendous.
Well, yeah, but no Melo.
Yeah, I mean,
LaMelo balls out.
I mean, this Magic team hasn't done anything to earn anything over the last 3 weeks. You know what this is? This is Vegas going, you know what? This is the final day before All-Star break. And this is when you get like the seventh guy on the bench going for 40.
Yet the Lakers are only favored by 9.5 to
Against
Utah.
the Jazz. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is them just going, yeah. It's a lot like the final 3 games of an NBA season.
Yeah.
A lot of those
You have
lines
no
are
idea.
so insane, and you're just like, wait, what? And so, but yeah, I would expect some shenanigans.
Okay.
Shenanigans are afoot.
Shenanigans afoot at the Circle K. All right. Hey, we've got a little bit of college football news coming out of Columbus, Ohio today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they have found their defensive coordinator now.
Well,
I don't understand this. I don't understand some of the reaction coming out of this hire. We'll get to that after Will with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Blazers close out the first half of their regular season tonight. They're taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Blazers aren't going to have DeAndre Ayton or Scoot Henderson. They're both out with injuries tonight. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set for 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Lakers fans are going to get their second look at Luka Doncic tonight in a Lakers jersey. They're taking on the Jazz in Utah. Lakers are favored by 8.5. Tip-off at 6. Elsewhere in the NBA, Kevin Durant became the 8th player in NBA history to reach 30,000 points. He's hit that mark in the third quarter against the Grizzlies. KD is only 1,400 points away from catching Wilt Chamberlain for 7th all-time. More injury news in Dallas as they lose their center Daniel Gafford for at least 2 weeks with a sprained right knee. Gafford now joins Anthony Davis, Derek Lively II, and Dwight Powell on the Mavs injury report. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is
There's still time to enter the daily Slam Dunk in Vegas contest. Entering is easy. Just download the free Odyssey app, log on to 1080 The Fan or any of the participating stations. Listen each day for a minimum of 1 hour for your daily entry. The winner of this national contest will receive travel for 4. That's the winner plus 3 of your guests. 5-night stay at the Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination and the home of the biggest March Hoops party, the Stadium Swim. Plus $5,000 for each of you to fund the ultimate viewing experience of the first 2 rounds of the College Basketball Championship. All you got to do is download the Odyssey app, log on, listen right here to the Fan for an hour. You're doing it anyways, so just do it on the app. Duh.
Helpful.
And then you can come back each day for another hour to add for a chance to win. For more info, go to 1080thefan.com. Hey, Matt Patricia has been hired reportedly as the defensive coordinator of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Went in for an interview on Monday. Yesterday in the evening, it came out that it was inching closer and closer to Matt Patricia being the guy as a defensive coordinator. And it's a really interesting reaction that people are having to Matt Patricia being the defensive coordinator for Ohio State.
When I first saw it, my initial reaction was, because I think Matt Patricia left us a very sour taste as a head coach.
Right.
But it's the thing we've talked about for the last couple of weeks. You can be a great coordinator
for years.
And well, I mean, we've really hammered home in the last couple of weeks as far as like all the changes that we've seen and coordinators becoming head coaches becoming coordinators. Some people can really just be awesome as a coordinator and god awful as a head coach. It's honestly, I think that's the thing, is a realization that people are coming to is like, that's okay.
Well, people are like mocking this hire from Ryan Day. I think this is a phenomenal hire by Ryan Day, because Matt Patricia, not a good head coach. Full stop. May look a little weird, disheveled. That dude's track record as a coordinator and as a defensive coordinator.
There you go.
And a football mind is second to none. He is wicked smart, literally a rocket scientist. And when it comes to the defensive side of the football, he is meticulous in his preparation. He never leaves a stone unturned. And just think of, as a defensive coordinator, what he was able to do with New England's defense was rarely the most talented.
No, but it was schemed up, and they took advantage of the playmakers that they did have.
And that guy is regarded as in-game adjustments, one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Against the best quarterbacks in the game, and some of the best quarterbacks that the game has ever seen, right? He's a really damn good coordinator, and him going to the collegiate level, we're seeing more and more of this trend, and it will continue to happen. As guys, we talked about this yesterday. What are coordinators getting in the NFL? Younger and younger and younger, because you want to keep those young, sharp next wave of football minds in your organization. So the room for a guy like Matt Patricia, who has failed as a head coach, who the guy that he was always attached to in Bill Belichick, now gone and out of the league, in the coaching tree that Bill Belichick had, it was not widespread, right?
No.
So,
in fact, most of his guys did not do well.
And he is very smart, but you go to the college level, and all of a sudden, there's plenty of opportunities. In Ohio State, you're getting a damn good coach who has seen so many different things. He's going to be perfect for it. He's going to be perfect in Columbus and at Ohio State. Anybody that's mocking that hire, man, I may eat my words and he may be a disaster there, but every single inch of his career as a defensive coordinator has been absolutely outstanding.
The interesting thing about it, too, is I think you're also seeing a trend of universities, programs being smart and going, look, we've got our general manager and our head coach who are going to handle a lot of the other stuff. Ohio State did this literally last year when they went and got Chip Kelly. Go get a brilliant mind that doesn't want to deal with the BS.
Yeah.
Let the football be the football. And that's I think, the allure of the coordinator position now in today's age, in both the NFL and college. The football is the football is the football. If you just want to do the football and not deal with the other stuff,
Yeah.
that is your best opportunity.
Mhm.
And if you realize that if you're on the NFL side, I don't think people truly understand what it takes to be a head coach and like manage all of that.
It's a lot.
It's not just the game plan, it's the interpersonal, it's all of the locker room mechanics and
Well, in college football, it's even more. It's more spread thin for a head coach.
yes, it's
in that
even more CEO-ish.
you have got to, because if you do not trust your general manager to degrees that you can't even fathom,
Yeah.
like it has got to be somebody that you believe in more than any other person, because if you don't have that person, then you have to be in on everything else, right?
Mhm.
And that means
You have
you
to
have to
trust
be
the
in on
delegation.
NIL, the transfer portal situation. You have to be in on every single recruiting meeting.
Up to speed on the
Your-
NCAA rulings.
Your
and-
general manager or chief of staff.
Mhm.
Those people they really are the second most important person in a football program.
because of all the hands that they have in stuff.
And it is everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they get their pulse on the players in the locker room. The head coach can then focus a little bit more on football, but then the head coach's role is to make sure the interpersonal relationships within the locker room are okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're overseeing your staff and your game planning and meetings, logistics, all that stuff. It is
Yeah, what have you talked about Lanning?
earth-shattering.
Going around from group to group to group. He's got a microphone or a bullhorn.
He's got a microphone at
Yeah.
practice, and he'll just be in one position group. He sees something on the other practice field, pops on the mic, boom, over, and he is bebopping around all over practice. He
Whereas-
is in it.
If you're talking about position coaches and coordinators, the main
They're there.
thing is the main thing.
Yep.
And I think if you have that realization, and I mean this wholeheartedly, people that are not even just in sports, but a realization of what you're good at, and it's not when people say they accept something. I think a lot of times people take that as like a shot. Accepting that you are great as a coordinator, but not as a head coach. That's not a bad thing. That is
Yeah.
a good that self-realization, that self-actualization is a good thing.
We are, and I think that this is becoming more and more apparent that it's something that I've been saying for years. And you have in football, it always was. Eventually, I want to be the head coach.
Mhm.
And the interesting part is that basketball it's been quite the opposite, right?
Mhm.
You've had every head coach has got a right-hand man that has been like every great coach had a right-hand man that was his guy for 20 years, right?
Phil Jackson, Tex Winter.
And so in football, it is always I'm waiting for my shot to become a head coach. And you want to be that leader of men. It's kind of ingrained in the culture of
Oh, 100%.
be the leader of men.
Militaristic. The promotion ranks.
I'm gonna be a guy who's gonna go lead the charge. Football has slowly been transitioning to, if you actually want to be a football coach, you don't become a head coach, because a head coach is
It's not the football.
in most situations is so far away from the actual football side of it. You look at the guys who have retired and have stepped away. Nick Saban, right? It became so much more. It wasn't just NIL.
No.
NIL wasn't the whole thing. It was
That probably helped usher him out.
Well, because of NIL, because of the transfer portal, that took more time away from him actually being able to focus on football in the game, right?
There's a lot more time
Mac-
spent in that office, open up that case of title rings,
Yeah.
and showing them over and over and over again.
Mac Brown, same kind of thing, right? You have got to have this incredible amount of trust in the other people that you're around, that they are going to take care of their jobs, cross their T's, dot their I's, and you let them do their damn thing. And then that's the only time a head coach can actually focus on football stuff. And it's really hard to find.
And that means everything has to go your way.
It does. It does. And that's why I think you're going to see a lot of these guys have that realization that maybe being a head coach isn't the most important thing to me. Maybe I can get paid, and assistant coach pay has gone up across the board in college football to where it's like, I don't need to be a head coach to make a great living.
No.
Like, yeah, coordinators making $3
I was
million a
saying, you're
year
getting $2
now.
and $3 million for top coordinators.
And it wasn't that long ago that head coaches were making like $1 million and $1.5 million and near the top. Now it's head coaches are getting paid an exorbitant amount. And then their coordinators, because they're like, dude, I need somebody I can trust. We need to pay this guy. That's going up, and They won't have to leave to become a head coach.
I mean, that problem was specifically an issue for the Raiders,
Yep.
who didn't pony up for Kingsbury last year.
yeah.
And this time, they learned, and they paid to go get Chip.
Yep.
Like, so you're seeing it happen in real time of like the value of that, and there's still plenty of organizations in the NFL now who aren't willing to pay for coordinators or aren't willing to pay for position coaches, and that's why you see them churn through. It's like, that's not the place to get cheap.
Mm-mm.
Don't get cheap there.
Nope. All right, let's get to some fun with audio, college basketball edition,
Ooh.
because this is fantastic. This is great. We got 2 pieces of audio for you. One comes from the land of the SEC. The other comes from ACC basketball. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hello,
College hoops rolling along. It's been if you haven't been following, college basketball has been really damn fun.
It's been incredible.
It's
and
been
look,
great.
the SEC, it just means more there. Have you seen what SEC basketball is this year?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, the top 3 teams in the country reside in the SEC. 3 of the top 5 are in the SEC. Number 1 is Auburn. Number 2 is Alabama. Number 3 is Florida. Number 5 is Tennessee. Pretty good. Which leads us to our first piece of fun with audio. Karl Ravech was on the call on ESPN as number 2 Alabama went to Austin, Texas for a matchup with the Longhorns in SEC play. The Crimson Tide won 103-80. They're rolling. They are rolling. In the SEC may be dominant, but Karl Ravech is not sold on the SEC quite yet.
So think about it. We know how dominant they were in the non-conference season, the SEC. They were 185-23. Since January 4 into Tuesday, the SEC teams are 82-82. It's not as if one team or 2 teams or 3. They're 82-82. Like, there's been no ability to pull away. There's no dominant group of teams.
That's a bad statistic, buddy.
Do you know what happened on January 4th? January 4th was when the SEC started conference play.
Indeed.
Which means they've only been playing each other. So as one team wins in the SEC, another team loses in the SEC. Inherently, you cannot have separation.
Nope.
You know what's a wild stat? The Big Ten is 120 and 120 since they started conference play. Did you know the Conference USA? That's the whole United States. It's Conference USA. They're 54-54 since conference play started.
Interesting.
Nobody's separating in any of these conferences, Danny.
I want to give you this because I was talking to
I feel so bad for him.
I was talking to a scout last night. We were talking about SEC basketball in the run that Alabama now has to go on. This is
Wait, what? No, how are you glossing over Karl Ravech?
No. I'm
okay, and you know when this started? There was a guy who said they're 54-54 a couple of weeks ago, and his name's like Joey Pickles, and it went viral.
Yeah.
And Ravech was like, "Good point. I'm going to go ahead and take this a step further."
But this is what I want to highlight. The whole idea of it being 82-82, right? Okay. This is going back to what day was the A&M game? Goodness gracious. They don't have the date back on this.
It's like in January,
Yeah.
like end of January, last week of January.
January 26th
I know
is when the
Okay, so
Joey Pickles tweet.
since Texas A&M, who was number 10 at the time, also an SEC team, number 21 Ole Miss, number 8 Kentucky, then Vandy, LSU, then number 14 Mississippi State, another SEC team, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, then number 1 Auburn, 21 Missouri, 15 Kentucky, 22 Mississippi State, 5 Tennessee, 3 Florida, and 1 Auburn.
How does that pertain to the 82 and 82?
No, because it talks about like how great this conference is.
Oh.
They're playing nothing but top 25 teams the rest of the country, the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That's what the SEC is. The SEC is just, I want to say I think they have 10 of the top 25. Yeah, it's going to be 82-82 because it's going to be tough because it's a brutal conference.
I think you, like Karl Ravech, are missing the point of why people are laughing at that.
They
Danny,
have to be 82.
Danny,
No, I know
Danny,
that.
when you play conference games,
it evens out. Yes, I understand.
Every conference in the country is going to be 500 through conference play.
I know that, but what I'm talking about with the SEC specifically, I'm making fun of him in the 82 and 82. That number doesn't matter. Like, they're going to play each other an even number of times. It's not going to stagger.
Yeah, it is. The conference is really good, though, to what you're trying to say there.
Yes.
Which is different from the Karl Ravech thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
That conference is
It's
dominant.
the best conference in basketball, and it's not close right now. It's insane. Like, that's what I'm saying. The whole, like, bringing that point up is like, number one, the math is going to math no matter what.
Yeah, every conference in the country is going to be.
Yeah.
Once conference play starts, every conference is 500 from there on.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is their overall records are going to be throughout the conference play. Like, them, what were they, 185-23 or something?
Yeah, 185-23.
Yeah.
Dominant.
That's because it's really, really good. They might get 10 teams in the NCAA tournament.
According to Joe Lunardi's bracketology, they have 12 in right now. And do you know which team is the first one out?
Ooh, Texas?
Arkansas.
Oh my God!
They're not leaving out Arkansas. If you have
Arkansas
a
wins.
chance,
They've
to
had
get-
injuries. That's the thing with them, and they lost Boogie Flan for the season. So.
But it's Calipari, and that's going to get eyeballs.
It's Cal, and they
and you've had them in the
started.
last four.
They
You put
started-
Cal in a last four game,
Right.
Woo!
They started conference play 1-6.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at their losses, though, they're all tight
Yeah, against good teams.
against really good teams.
Because everybody's 82 and 82 right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. That is, I feel bad for Carl because Carl Ravitch is a really good broadcaster. And
Yeah, that's-
he got caught up. Look, sometimes we get got on the internet.
Yeah,
He
it
saw the
happens.
Joey Pickles tweet about 54 and 54, and he's like, still true. There's still 500. Can you believe this? Can you believe? And I wonder if there's a producer news here going, don't. Oh, yep, there we are.
Is it possible?
He landed the
A
plane.
producer could have given it to him.
I was going to say, is it possible that an idiot producer gave it to him because, like, Carl Ravitch is a baseball guy. I get that he warms up with college basketball, but there's a chance that there's a producer that puts a lot of his
And he
important
just-
stats down.
He had to blind belief.
He Ron Burgundied it, dude. It
Well,
happens.
I mean, this is why we don't allow Will Ortner to do the show prep here. You know, because the producer can lead you astray sometimes.
I would never do that to you unless it would be funny.
and that was funny.
That is
it's
funny.
It's going viral now.
It's a good bit.
Our other piece of fun with audio, we travel to ACC country, and yes, ACC country is Dallas, Texas, where SMU hosted the Pitt Panthers. Brother, things are not going well in Dallas. Nico Harrison,
oh boy.
he is not going to his regular seats at Mavs games.
Yeah, stay out of Dallas, buddy.
Well, he decided he was going to go scout Pitt SMU, and the SMU student section was not happy that he was there. Fire Nico chants as he was walking to his seat.
As a
The student section, and that was just a snippet of it. They kept
Yeah, give
with
it
the
on.
Fire
Yeah.
Nico chants at a college, but he's not safe.
no, as a point of order here. Where's SMU located?
At Dallas,
There you
Texas.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna
There
go
in
if you're-
Dallas.
if you're gonna go out in public, brother, not in that city. Maybe not in that state.
Yeah, he should like scout the WCC. He needs to be scouting.
Go do some Big East.
Yeah.
Big
he-
East scouting.
Yeah, I think he might have been safe last night, and no, he wouldn't have been in Omaha
No,
at that UConn Creighton game because it was Dollar Beer Night. Dollar
Boy,
Beer Night would have gone.
did not go well for Creighton.
No, they got beat.
They got
Yeah.
McNeely'd.
Yeah, they got McNeely.
Liam McNeely went off for 38.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But they lost by 4. I mean, it's not like they got run out of their own gym. They did in the second half, for
Yeah.
sure. They were feeling themselves in that first half,
Mhm.
though. And that place was lit. Dollar Beer Night works.
Look, Creighton is a fun little program, man.
Their athletic director said Omaha is a beer city, and you give people a reason to drink beer, they're going to drink beer. And Dollar Beer Night gets our crowd going.
I mean, it's Omaha, you know.
What I think that's any college. If you go to, except for BYU, if you go to any college and you have Dollar Beer Night, it's going to be the best night of your season, or could devolve. Like, you don't want to do this at Arizona State. Actually, they're pros. What would be the worst school to have Dollar Beer Night at?
As far as like how unhinged or
yeah, I think
Ooh, West Virginia.
West Virginia is a good one.
West Virginia's up there.
That's a really
Iowa.
good one.
Iowa's up there.
But they got Midwestern sensibilities. Like,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is
LSU.
interesting because those folks, again, they're like Arizona State, they're pros, right? I think you get West Virginia is
West
like
Virginia's up there.
belligerent
Yeah.
fans that when they go on the road,
Oh, Florida.
there are
Florida man on Dollar Beer Night.
yeah, there are
That's-
stories about West Virginia fans.
Yeah.
Like they'll bite the top off of a can,
Mhm.
like bite around the edge so the
I had
top
a
is
teammate
off,
that could do it. Yeah.
and then boom,
Bang
house
it.
the beer.
Yeah.
Open a beer with no hands.
Look, if
and
you've
drink
never
it.
been to West Virginia, it's different, folks.
Country roads,
Mhm.
take me home. All right. There's our Fun with Audio college basketball edition. A seismic shift could be happening in the National Football League, and it may be closer than we think. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
When we got new windows in
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, the Ohio State Buckeyes have found their new defensive coordinator. They signed NFL veteran Matt Patricia. Patricia is going to replace Jim Knowles. He left Ohio State for Penn State. He's now the Nittany Lions DC. Over in the NBA, the Blazers close out the first half of their regular season tonight. They're taking on the Nuggets in Denver. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set for 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Angels third baseman Anthony Rendon will miss significant time this year due to injury. Rendon is having hip surgery, according to the organization. Rendon has only played in 205 games while missing 438 games since the 2021 season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We Beavers and the hottest topics in sports.
Hey, what's happening, Norm?
It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080. No! The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day and letting us be a part of yours, whether it's on 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080am, The Fan, or the Party Animals on YouTube, youtube.com/1080am The Fan. Party on, you party people. Happy birthday, Honest Abe. Abraham Lincoln's birthday today.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, all right.
Yeah. It's his birthday. His death day, April 15th.
No.
You know that?
No.
Yeah. I just found that out today
Well, there you go.
when I was making sure it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Is that what you do in the morning?
Tax day.
You get up and see who's got a birthday today?
No. Sometimes you see things and
Yeah.
you're like, is it really? And so you do a quick Google and then boom.
You know what's really weird is when you
Birth
think,
and death dates pop up.
I think we think about Abraham Lincoln as this ancient figure, but in reality, it's not that long ago.
What is it, 1865 he
Mhm.
died? I mean, I'd say that's a long
I
time
mean,
ago.
I think we think of U.S. history
Yeah.
as so much older than it really is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just seeing old places, like you're like, damn, this is
Yeah,
really
like
old.
when you go to Europe and you go to Italy and you see the Colosseum and you're like, that's old.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze's got a joke about that. He's like, he goes, it's just so old. They're like, yeah, this place is from 5.
Yeah.
The year 5. You're just-
Literal thousands of years ago. And you're like, no, that's old.
yeah.
Like the old castles that are up, in England. Like, yeah, no, that was built in 1236. And you're like, wait, what?
You say 12?
Yeah. Like, what do
Yeah,
you-
dude, that was like 200 years before Chris Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Yeah. It's like, then it starts kind of hitting like, no, nothing on this planet has done that more to me than the pyramids.
Oh, yeah.
Like seeing the pyramids in Egypt. That I don't think there's anything on this planet like Stonehenge is Stonehenge. You're like, it's cool, but it's not that. When you see the pyramids and you go, by hand?
Nah, man, the aliens.
By
dude.
hand?
The aliens.
Total squirrel moment.
We've gone, beyond this?
Beyond this, solely because of pyramids. And you say you see stuff. Last night, random scrolling of the phone. Have you ever heard of LiDAR?
Nope.
It's like
First
radar,
time
but
I'm
it's
hearing that
using
word.
light refraction.
Nope.
So
Never heard of it.
they've been doing it in the Amazon forest.
Okay.
And they have found another city.
Yeah,
that is buried.
Ancient City. Yeah, I've seen this.
Well, no, this one was Saturday.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Saw it. Yep.
But it's the second one they found in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
One of them, the first one was found like 4 or 5 months ago by college students on a paper using LiDAR and how it should be used in South America.
That's crazy.
But yeah, there's apparently like a Machu Picchu style civilization buried under, 100 foot of
That's wild, dude.
vegetation. It's
That's
like,
crazy.
we're on this planet and we still don't know everything that's on the surface.
Well, yeah, man.
It's again,
Wait till they find Atlantis under the ocean.
I mean, I want to see fish people.
It's where the aliens actually live.
Well, we did get the alien fish. That was all over the news this weekend. The
Alien fish?
Yeah, the dangler fish.
yeah.
There was, which you never see alive. It was off of the coast of Peru.
Sure.
Why don't you see it
Why
alive?
not? Why wouldn't it be?
Because it lives at like 8,000 feet.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh.
It's the one like it's in Finding Nemo.
They're all in Finding Nemo.
Well, no,
aren't
it's
they?
the one where he goes all the way
Yes,
down.
well,
It has a little
every-
light. Do you know what I'm
Every
talking about?
fish is in
I
Finding
know
Nemo.
what you're talking about,
Yeah,
but like
it is in Finding
Yeah.
Nemo.
all the
You're-
fish are in Finding Nemo, or they're in Finding Nemo 2.
There you go.
Electric
Finding,
Boogaloo.
That's Finding Dory. All right.
Finding Nemo 2.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a squirrel moment.
Yeah, I told you, but like things that you see.
Yeah.
I love like nature and history. Like probably my outside of sports, my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I can sit there and just read about it endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I see that stuff like pop up, my algorithm has a lot of that.
I
A lot
mean-
of basketball and then like a lot of history.
Shane Gillis has got a joke about that.
Yeah, look. I know.
Uh,
I
About
know.
the same age that he is too.
I'm aware.
yeah.
Love guns. I know. Look, I know what I look like.
So these fish people,
Yeah.
do you care what their skin color is?
Yeah,
Damn, Will.
there's a
I'm just
look.
asking questions.
There's plenty of jokes to be made about the recent Little Mermaid. So
Oh man.
you know,
Uh,
steer out of that. I dare you.
Have you seen the fight that nobody's asked for?
No. Fish people?
No.
They're both kind of aliens in their own way.
Well, I mean, one guy was criticized for being wildly racist.
Oh, that fight. Yeah.
John Rocker is going to fight Pat Mahomes Sr. in a boxing match presented by Barstool Sports. This comes after, I don't know how or why this happened. Mahomes Sr. and Rocker
got into it on Bourbon Street.
They confronted each other in New Orleans Super Bowl weekend on Bourbon Street. And
I have a reeling suspicion John Rocker's maybe in a little bit better shape than
Pat Mahomes Sr.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can get him.
He's got Dewey strength.
I don't know what that is.
It's like Popeye, but instead of feeding him spinach, you give him beer.
All right. You
ever had drunk strength and been able to lift something you didn't think you could?
Drunk?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We used to get drunk and then do the bench press. I get it.
Okay, well, hold on. That's another thing. Is like getting drunk and then just being like, I'm broing out. I don't think it's like I get any stronger.
No, but you convince yourself that maybe you can do
You
things.
get beer muscles.
Yeah,
You get beer
that's exactly what I'm talking
it's
about.
You just get wired differently in the brain. You're probably not performing at your highest level.
No.
Even though, remember when Michelob Ultra started? There was like a
performance beer.
It was like a recovery
Yeah.
beer. And it was like, I don't know if you guys can advertise
the
it
beer
like
that you
this.
drink after you get done working out. Because
Are
it's
you
low in calories.
serious?
Oh, God, yeah.
Their commercials
40
were wild,
calories,
dude.
baby. You get they
whole
would get
thing-
guys come off a basketball court and crack a Mick Ultra.
Yeah, and then hop back out and get their run back in. It was like people go like training for marathons, then just cracking that Mick Ultra. I was like, I don't think that it's like the Gatorade of beer.
No.
I don't think that that's what
That
it is.
rocks, man.
I can't imagine doing something worse than that. Like, let me drink a beer and then go work out more.
I will
Good God.
say I saw something on Instagram, and I actually tried it, and I was stunned how good it was. There was a guy he's a bar owner, he's a mixologist type guy.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he got, somebody on his Instagram feed said, hey, you've got to try this. So he's like, I'll give it a whirl. And he tried it, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is actually good. And his reaction to, he's like, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do this in the summer. This is a perfect summer change up. He added the little powder, the Gatorade Zero, orange Gatorade Zero powders. Okay. He added it to a Busch Light, and he's like, dude, this just tastes like an orange drink that's carbonated.
Really?
I tried it. It's true.
It's better than beer Mado.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's not something I'm going to do all the time.
people
but
that pour their Busch Light into a Clamato is just some of the nastiest.
there's a lot of people that do it, man.
Look, one of my best friends in the Air Force is from Iowa. We went back down there. It was like it was everyone had them.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
I was
it's a
like-
big Midwestern
I was like,
treat.
no, I like my insides
Yeah.
where they are. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's like,
Beer mimosas are good too. If you've ever done that.
look, I'll go down that path, but yeah, that whole, but the Gatorade and the beer, huh?
Yeah, it's not the premix. It's just the
powder.
little powder stuff,
Yeah,
and they come in like
in
into
the little
li-
sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got them at home. Yeah.
See, that's why I tried because I had some at home, and so I was like, we're gonna give this a whirl. So a buddy and I tried it, and it was
Busch is
good.
especially Busch is it's like
Light.
it's I mean flavor wise it's pretty light on flavor. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Boy, this segment really this is what happened when football season's over.
Yeah.
This is what happens when football
Yeah,
season's
we get to have
over.
fun.
You're welcome. All right, let's get to we could have big movement in the world of the NFL based on the result of the Super Bowl. We'll get to that next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Super Bowl 59 saw the unceremonious dismantling of the Kansas City Chiefs by the Philadelphia Eagles. A blowout victory, 40-22 on Sunday. There's a lot of questions now that Kansas City has to answer. You got some tough choices on your roster with all the free agents that are coming up, and all eyes were on Travis Kelce after what was a lackluster performance by his standards and his metrics, not just throughout the course of the season, but in the Super Bowl, where Philly did a great job of taking him away, but his impact just wasn't felt as we've seen time and time again. And look, that guy was still wildly productive when it was winning time for Kansas City. But he is aging. He's a guy that at a tight end position, he's not a blocker by nature, but he'll mix it up a little bit. He's a receiving tight end.
Sure.
When is enough going to be enough, and when does Travis Kelce retire? He went on the New Heights podcast with his brother Jason, and he addressed the future of what happens as he acknowledged the fact that he has felt a drop-off, and then what happens next.
As you see yourself or not feel yourself have the success that you once used to have, man, it's a tough pill to swallow. And then on top of that, to not be there in the biggest moments, knowing your team's counting on you, man. Those are all extremely hard things to it's just a tough reality. And I think I'm going to take some time to figure it out. And I think I owe it to my teammates that if I do come back, that it's going to be something that it's a wholehearted decision. I'm not half-assing it, and I'm fully here for them. And I think I could play. It's just whether or not I'm motivated or it's the best decision for me as a man, as a human, as a person to take on all that responsibility.
Boy, that kind of sounds like a guy who's leaning towards retirement, not playing another year.
Well, not just that. The idea of how he played, not just in the Super Bowl, but this season. Remember, the talk all season long was they're saving him, they're preserving him, that he's going to be ready to go come playoffs. And it was the least impactful run he's had in his career as far as being that guy. I mean, he's getting long in the teeth. It's happening, and I think there's a realization that he can't have the impact that he used to have. He's 35. I mean, that's old.
Yeah. I mean, he did go for 117 yards in the divisional round, though. I mean, it's not like he was irrelevant. And
no, you're right. He did have that, but this season in general, he did not.
No, he didn't. And I think that everybody said, all right, playoff time, this is where he's going to be impactful. And we talked about, leading up to the AFC Championship game, where Buffalo is going to have success was, all right, your nickel is going to have to be locked up, and he's going to have to take a lot of the responsibility of Travis Kelce, and they eliminated him. And I think what Philly did, which was something that very few teams can do, is when you rush 4 and drop 7, guess what you can take care of? You can take care of number 87 because you got 7 guys back in coverage to take care of 4 receivers most of the time, because the back wasn't even able to release out into pass routes either, because you needed him in protection so you could have 6 to block 4, which they did ineffectively over the course of the game. So, it was one part, Travis Kelce is getting old, and you're dead on right about that. But it also is the fact that the last 2 games that they saw, they did everything they could to eliminate number 87. And so he still has that gravity. I mean, we see the highlights and the lowlights, if you will, of Travis Kelce's Super Bowl. There were 2 guys around him all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, see, he's given up on this route. It's like, well, he's just not running into a space where other guys are going to be, because he's got 2 guys around him. He's not going to go and get somebody else into trouble because he's trying to clear out and lose one of 2 defenders. No, throttle down, let 2 guys guard you, and somebody else, it's their responsibility to get open.
The problem was
nobody was getting open. Well, they
were,
were, but it was too late.
And that's,
yeah.
I think the fine line there is that, and it's not wholly on him. That's not what I'm saying. But last year, year before, even in those double coverage situations, when they were looking to take him away, he found ways to beat it. to make himself available, to make the plays. And he's getting to an age now where it just doesn't happen. I mean, how many guys have beyond this age really been productive? Gates, Gonzalez. Is that the list? How old was Olsen when he hung it up?
I don't. Well, Greg Olsen, I think right now is only like 39. He might be 40-ish.
But look, tight end's like one of the positions.
He's 39 right now.
So even he wasn't that old when he hung it up. So like, I'm just trying to think of tight ends of in recent memory who
he played until he was 35.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like this is kind of it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he knows that he's at the end of it. I think the fascinating part is, all right, when is it going to be? Gronk was only 32 when he hung it up.
Yeah, he also had all of the injuries.
He's got one more year left on his deal, though, and that's, $20 million. You don't need the $20 million.
Nobody ever needs it, but when it's there in front of you.
He'll be 36 years old, $20 million, and this is where we were talking about this with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. The next evolution of what your dynasty looks like, it's going to look different. And there's going to be years where you have these guys like a Travis Kelce who are aging out, and they're, by name, they are impactful. By where they are at that point in their career, they're not. And they're going to take up a bigger number of your salary cap. And this is where the Patriots were always considered cold-blooded, right? They would trade guys out with 2 years to go, signaling, all right, we know that he's going to be a guy who's going to stick around. We're going to sell while the stock is still high, and we're going to get something in return to try and turn it over and develop it. If you look at where the Chiefs are with their cap, $66 million to Patrick Mahomes next year. 27 to Jawan Taylor, who is 28-year-old right tackle. 33-year-old left guard Joe Thuney, $27 million. Travis Kelce, a 36-year-old tight end, $20 million. You got some money in some older guys at their position, and this is going to be the fascinating part, is where do those guys make their decisions on whether they come back or not, and how do you fill that void? Because Noah Gray, he had a few games where he was electric.
Yeah.
He's not Travis Kelce in his prime. And that is where you go, are you going to do it by having a bunch of guys replace the production? And they could, right?
Sure.
You could, whether it's Rashee Rice when he comes back, along with DeAndre Hopkins if he comes back. Xavier Worthy popped at the end of the year, and he's a rookie, and he's going to be pretty cheap. Like, they have a bunch of guys on some pretty sweet deals for them, but that's going to be the evolution. Is Mahomes is going to have to go with, it's going to be by committee. It's not going to be, where's Travis Kelce? Where's Tyreek Hill? Those are my two woogies that I'm going to lock on to.
That's that evolution stuff. It's every part of this, and the choices you have to make, and this is what makes the NFL, is that those choices impact you in the immediacy and in the long term as far as operating under that salary cap. That's what keeps the churn of the NFL so viable.
So they have 22 guys, only 22 guys under contract for next year. Okay.
Is that 53?
No. No, but they only have $15 million in salary cap space. And it's a little bit different because it's 48 players with cap holds that could be free agents. But if you retain those guys and you bring them back, they only have $15 million to spend. 22 are truly under contract for next year.
Money.
Holy smokes.
A lot of work.
They've got, Brent Veach, he's got his work cut out for him. You're always going to be in it as long as you have Patrick Mahomes.
I would say the glass half full part of that is you only have 22 people under contract, so you can remake your team.
Yeah. And it's easier said than done because guys want to get paid. They want to get their money, but there's going to be guys who are willing to play for cheaper to go with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Not just that. I guarantee you, regardless of quarterback situation, you would rather be a GM of the Chiefs right now, even with no quarterback, than you would of the Saints, just because of the money issues alone. Yeah. Just because the Saints have nothing they can do.
The next 2 years is about paying the piper. The Chiefs have not gotten that point yet.
I have a question that popped up because did you hear Dak Prescott's comments yesterday?
About being a title contender?
Yeah. And saying they're not that far off. And if you go back, like, since Jalen Hurts has been the starter, I think they have like a 500 record against the Eagles. And that was his point. He's like, we played them tough. Like, we could be there too. First, no. We talk about the two least attractive jobs in this hiring cycle. New Orleans and Dallas. Would you rather have no quarterback at all or a quarterback who you know is not elite and you're stuck with him, like Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
Which, like, Dak Prescott, you know he's not elite. He's good, and he's good enough.
But you're paying for him. I
for him.
I wouldn't want to go down that path.
And that's why it's like, it may almost be better if you are in New Orleans, where your cap situation is hell this year, and
2 years.
You're going to get some relief next year. You know you're not going to, because you don't have a quarterback, and you know you're not going to have a quarterback next year, but you know that there is a pathway.
Eventually, yes.
The pathway looks a hell of a lot longer in Dallas, where you have a bunch of money tied up into places that you're going, I don't know if you can get this done. But they have Micah Parsons. They have
where the money's not tied up in.
And you're going, holy smokes, they have some dudes, but you know that you're never going to get over that hump.
Yeah, not a fan.
Oh man,
not a fan.
That's brutal.
All right, coming up next for our worst in the web. Look, snake oil's making its comeback. What about some tiger oil?
That's the thing?
No, we'll get to that and more on the worst in the web. But first, here's the big, or excuse me, not the Big Kahuna. It's Big Will Betts with a Sports Zone update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Sports Center is brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for a DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, DeAndre Ayton, he exited Monday's game against Denver with an injury to his left calf. The Blazers just put on X that after he underwent an MRI today, it is confirmed he has a left calf strain. He will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Those Blazers are closing out the first half of their regular season tonight against the Nuggets in Denver. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set at 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Lakers fans are going to get their second look at Luka Doncic tonight as LA takes on the Jazz in Utah. The Lakers are favored by 8.5. Tip-off at 6. Over in college basketball, number 3 Duke takes on new ACC foe, the Cal Golden Bears, in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Freshman phenom Cooper Flagg leads the way for the Blue Devils. He's averaging 19.5 points per game. Duke is favored by 23.5 points. Tip-off at 6. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our nationwide contest for a chance to have the ultimate tournament viewing experience with 3 of your friends. More info at 1080thefan.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work.
It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Look, the old Western days, and any Western you've probably seen, features somebody with a wagon selling all kinds of charms and potions that could fix all the ails and wants and needs.
Yeah, you're traveling salesman.
Yeah, he's traveling snake oil salesman.
That's right.
Well, it's
got all the cures.
It hasn't gone away because a zoo in China is currently under investigation and getting just absolutely hammered because, well, they were selling tiger urine.
Oh,
by the bottle. Well,
all right.
A 250-gram bottle of liquid.
All right, of tiger urine.
Yep.
Boy, that would be a bad job to be the person who has to collect that.
I mean,
yeah. What's your job you work at the zoo? That must be a fun job. What do you do? I work with the tigers. Oh, what do you do with the tigers?
I mean, does it have a litter box?
I collect their urine.
Like, you got to go get a dropper and suck it up off the ground?
I don't know. I'm just assuming that maybe it's like
attaching something, hopefully.
Yeah, it's like a turkey baster. You just
that's what I mean.
I have no idea how you do that.
Because I mean, it's a big cat. It probably drinks a lot of water. It probably doesn't take little kitty cat pees.
I'm assuming where this story is going, though, it may not even be tiger urine that they were actually selling.
Well, they were selling tiger urine because it was verified to be tiger urine, and they were pitching it as the zoo. The zoo recommended the fluid be mixed with white wine and applied to affected areas along with slices of slices of ginger. Do not slice up your gingers.
Wow.
Please don't slice this up.
Yeah.
It had a good therapeutic effect on ailments like arthritis, sprains, and muscle pains.
Yeah.
Rub cat pee in white wine.
And ginger.
And ginger.
Not gingers. Ginger on your ailments. I could see how this would be not well received by medical professionals. That's quite the move by the zoo.
Speaking to the Chinese media outlet, the zoo said the urine was collected directly from a basin the tigers urinated in, but not clarify if any disinfection procedures were followed.
Yeah, probably not. Well, didn't Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, he said he would collect urine from his teammates, he'd heat it up, and he'd put his ankle in it for 30 minutes as his home remedy for ankle injuries. You don't remember this?
No.
I thought that was just athlete's foot.
No.
No, that's what you do for jellyfish.
He said that it worked, and there's a reason why he's never been injured. Home remedies.
He's also the guy who said that he ate McDonald's and that made him stronger because he was putting garbage in his body.
Well, yeah, all that processed food has got superpowers in it. Chad Johnson, is he the director of this zoo? Because maybe he's on the same line of thinking here. You didn't even need it to be tiger or the white wine or the ginger. Oh, hey, white wine, Amari Stoudemire. It was red wine. Didn't Amari Stoudemire take baths in red wine, saying that it helped his body with the antioxidants?
That's not as bad.
Well, no.
It's not as bad.
No. Red wine. Let me see this.
Not to play devil's advocate here.
Bathing in red wine with Amari Stoudemire back in 2015.
Was he doing Franzia?
ESPN, the magazine, said that he would take baths in red wine to help him relax and recover.
Is he getting like heavy Bordeaux's?
Look, all I'm saying here is that this Chinese zoo, it may sound wild to all of us. Chad Johnson and Amari Stoudemire are probably like, no, they're on to something.
It gets worse. There was another zoo that did this in Chongqing, where workers were blowing whistles and keeping water taps near tigers' cages dripping to ensure a steady supply of urine.
They would literally scare the pee out of them?
Mm-hmm. And make sure that the water was always running so they had a healthy water supply. A researcher at the Shanghai University of Traditional Chinese Medicine and Pharmacology said, so far as I know, no medical works have mentioned the medicinal value of tiger urine, and the health of the tigers might also be damaged by those freakish urine collecting methods.
Oh, my goodness.
So it hasn't been proven that it doesn't help heal, though.
Sure.
Jeez.
Sure. Just as a point of clarification, the two stories I had going today were tiger pee.
So bad.
And the analysis, like an actual study being done on Americans learning Canadian hockey, English, or Canadian. Like the transitive property of like code switching. It happens in basketball. You have your Tyler Harrow Whites.
Oh yeah, where when an American starts talking hockey, they start going, "Oh, you got to cross the blue line, eh?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Big Will Betts does that when he starts talking Hawks.
Make sure you get that puck in the top shelf before you get your cellies on.
Yeah. So, okay.
You got some nice lettuce there, Cuddy.
Yeah, see?
That happens?
Oh, yeah. It's full on Shoresy. But there's like an actual study being done on it by a linguist. I can't remember what university he's at. But they call it, they were studying hockey lingo specifically. And then they noticed that in their studies, all these Americans who had nothing to do with Canada, like hockey players that were raised in Texas.
Is it the accent or just the lingo itself?
The lingo leads itself to that.
Okay.
Like it's a gateway drug to full on maple syrup.
Yeah. All right. What is this study going to do? There's a lot of studies that I just go, but why?
Yeah.
Do we need that?
Transitive property of language?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But yeah, those are the two stories I had going today.
I don't, whether it's Chad Johnson or the Chinese zoo, people honestly think their pee is going to be what's going to heal them.
Hey, look, there's people out there that'll definitely sell it to you for less than that on Amazon or eBay.
Oh boy. Maybe even more.
Helps with athletes.
How much were they charging for?
Basically $5 is 51.
Yeah.
$5?
No.
For 250
milliliters?
No, grams.
Grams.
Which is weird. I was like, it's a liquid.
That should cost more.
You'd think it would.
Well,
it's hard to get.
I
Plus,
bet
like
you it's
the
harder.
wine.
Well, I mean,
And the water supply.
And
well,
the
no,
ginger.
No. You have to provide your own white wine and ginger. They're just selling you the base ingredient and imploring you what to mix it with. But I wonder if there's like a sliding scale, like if it comes from like a zoo raised in or a tiger raised in captivity, their urine versus like a wild Siberian tiger's
An
urine.
organic tiger urine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, is
Not
it free,
any
is it free range?
Free range tiger pee.
Oh man! And they're not drinking it; they're rubbing it on their ailments. Okay.
I mean, is it,
even though there is a lot of liquids in here, it's being rubbed on the ailments.
It rubs the tiger pee on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
I am happy to say, I have never done this.
No.
I did get stung by. I stepped on a jellyfish when I was a kid.
Oh, you got peed on?
Yeah, I peed on my foot.
Oh, you did it yourself? That's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, but that's
different.
It didn't necessarily like it. It still hurt really bad.
You just didn't. You know what you do? You know what it was? You were too good of a teammate. You didn't have enough ammonia in your urine.
I
to
guess so.
counteract it.
Is that what it is supposed
I
to be?
think it's the ammonia in it that's supposed to.
I think it might be an old wives' tale. I thought I saw that it might not be real.
Didn't help.
I think friends might have lied to us.
Yeah. See, this is why.
Nope. Google says no. It's a myth.
Friends lied to us.
It did.
Chandler.
I'm so glad that we all had to go through this together.
You're recommended to rinse the area with hot salt water, remove any visible tentacles, and seek medical attention.
Nope. Didn't do any of those things.
It can actually aggravate the jellyfish stingers into releasing more venom.
Oh, perfect. Great. Yeah, that wasn't like a thing where it was like stuck in my leg area. Yeah. All right. Anyway, doesn't work. Don't try it.
There you go.
Have that at home.
Terrible.
Take that home with you.
All right, coming up next, Big Will Betts had it in his update there. We have the injury announcement on DeAndre Ayton and what that means for the Portland Trailblazers going forward. Danny and Dusty today in the Fan. Man, DeAndre Ayton has officially come down from the Blazers following his MRI after leading the game Monday night against the Denver Nuggets with a left calf injury. It is, in fact, a left calf strain. He will be out at least 4 weeks, at which point he will be reevaluated. This is kind of what I was hinting at yesterday morning. The thought process was that it was probably when you're 7 foot tall and you have a non-contact injury that causes you to leave the floor like that.
It's a big calf, man.
It's a big calf. You had to be carried off the floor. And look, DA's a lot of things. He's a different dude. He's a little off kilter. He's not soft when it comes to injuries.
Yeah.
That's not something like mentally he can check in and out, but he plays through stuff. So this is not just some thing, but it's, if you're looking at 4 weeks, that puts you, at basically March 14th.
I'm going to say, because February only has 28 days, right? I'm going to put that to the Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. That will put him out of 15 games, okay?
It's more than half the remainder of the season.
You put 15 games, and that will put you at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 left. So
28.
13 games he will play in at the end.
That's if he comes back.
I think you may see
this may be the end of DeAndre Ayton this year.
It's progressing, but we're going to give it a little bit more time and keep kicking that can down the road, because if you also look at it, I mean, the Blazers will go in that stretch. If he does come back on, March 17th at home, they play every other day until March 30th. Or March 27th is their last game. They play every other day for 10 straight days. He's not going to play in all those games coming back from that, even if he does come back. So I bet we've seen the last of him.
I'd say he's done.
Yeah, we've seen the last of DeAndre Ayton.
And this is the thing that I said, that
this year, maybe ever.
The single move that the Trailblazers can make before the injury was to shut down DeAndre Ayton. It will have the single biggest impact on the team, hands down.
Now, do you think that since this is an actual injury, does this depress maybe a value of DeAndre Ayton come the offseason trade market?
No. DA's been about as viably healthy as a 7-footer can be in the NBA.
Because the one thing that you can look at as well, for folks that don't know, DeAndre Ayton is entering the final year of his deal next year.
Yes.
But then you could say, well, it's $35 million, but $35 million of expiring money is attractive. DeAndre Ayton may be a in-season trade candidate more so than an off-season trade candidate, because of the fact that a prorated $35 million helps a team at the deadline far more than the full $35 million at the beginning of the year.
And as the Vancouver Ford text line points out, KD had a calf strain. How did that go? Yeah, they're not rushing him back. No one thought it was an Achilles injury when it first I shouldn't say no one, because I saw a bunch of people like, oh my God, his Achilles. No, where he reached, that's not Achilles. That's calf.
As Pio and Jordan points out on the Vancouver Ford text line, maybe they should get some Tiger Pea.
There you go. Might help.
Maybe. Plenty of good white wine here in the area to mix.
You're not wrong. That's actually. I wonder if they've considered that, mixing that Willamette Valley white wine.
People are wondering. People are wondering.
Those are the things that matter. But yeah, no. This is going.
Somebody just got into their car and is like, "What?
Yeah, mixing pea with your wine." There's some wine snob somewhere like, wait, why?
Just rewind on the Odyssey app and you'll get it.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you listen for at least an hour.
Yeah, and you can enter to go to Vegas.
See, look at that.
Bingo.
There you go, boss. We'll give you two in one day. Synergy. This is like I said, this is the single biggest thing they can do as far as impacting the game night in, night out.
Yeah.
So,
what if we come to find out that it's like, hey, he could have played, but this was the path. DeAndre Ayton's like, wait. He gets his press release in his email. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm good.
That's how teams tank. That's how they do it.
But look, if it was, if you want to tighten your tinfoil, if this was him faking it,
bravo.
Academy Award goes to DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, it was a good play.
I mean, just really simulated everything that's necessary to emulate a calf strain.
Dang right, brother.
All right, coming up next, we're going to pivot to the NFL. Even though the season is over, It's NFL draft season. The Underwear Olympics are only 2 weeks away. Let's take a look at our first initial divings of this year's draft class. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
On 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Travis Kelce said on his podcast that he's not made any decision on if he will return to play for the Chiefs next year or retire from the NFL. Kelce statistically did have his worst year since his rookie year in the NFL this past season. The Ohio State Buckeyes have found their new DC, signing NFL veteran Matt Patricia. Patricia replaces Jim Knowles, who left Ohio State for Penn State to be their DC. In the NBA, the Blazers close out the first half of their regular season tonight, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. No DeAndre Ayton. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks with a left calf strain. The Blazers announced that on X. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set at 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Lakers fans are going to see their second look of Luka Doncic tonight as LA takes on the Jazz in Utah. Lakers are favored by 8.5. Tip-off at 6. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Danny and Dusty.
My Uncle Gus is the uncle that likes to work the grill. As soon as he walk in the house, he's like, get away from that grill. You don't know how to start no fire.
With the latest on
Hour number 3 on a Wednesday. I had to think about the day there for a second. Sweet Jesus. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Prepare for snowpocalypse.
Yeah, man. We're already getting
we're getting
emails within the company about all the things that could be happening when the snow comes.
Done
Everybody
right now.
worried about it.
Deuces.
Not going to do it?
No, I'm not.
You got a long drive?
Yeah. Do I have the longest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You and Joe Fisher, because you both live in Newburgh.
Fish literally lives hilariously
2 blocks?
No, literally a block.
Well, you guys can carpool.
He lives on the next street up.
So if one of you is here and the other one is not, you know that is shame.
Well, if he leaves earlier in the morning when the roads are better.
No. That will be shame on one of you. The shame will be and the stink will be on one of you.
I'm just telling you, Joe, if you have a flat tomorrow morning, it wasn't me.
If we cancel shows, can we just make sure to email me this time? Because last time I didn't get emailed, and then I showed up and I strong-armed, according to some people, shows from happening, and then I got yelled at by a large bald man.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about
After
now.
he fell in the parking lot.
After he fell?
Didn't he fall in the parking lot?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
hope so now.
I think he fell in the parking lot, and that's why he was pretty upset. It was a skating rink. That is.
Oh yeah, no, that the last one was bad. There's no doubt about it.
There is nothing funnier though than showing up to work and being like, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah, no, that does. I mean, it's a young man's game there.
Yeah.
I usually I
didn't get an email. I don't know, man.
The ice will get you.
Yeah.
Ice is snow's fine.
Yeah,
ice
snow's
is
fine.
Ice is a demon.
It really is. You can't control
No.
on the ice. Your chains don't do ice.
Chains, snow tires, they don't care.
No.
Not one bit.
I'm gonna be here tomorrow.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they tell you no?
No.
No. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know, Dusty. You strong-armed some people last time too.
Yeah. I'm okay with driving in snow. Will get here in his Accord.
Yeah. Oh, no. Look,
it's a Camry.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Sorry. In your Camry. His Camry.
Yeah.
Sorry, upgraded you to a larger size.
Upgraded me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
It's
The
a
Honda
different
Accord
company.
is bigger.
I know, but the
Is
Accord-
it
bigger.
better? No,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not.
it's not.
I had
Camry,
an Accord.
I believe the Camry is the most popular vehicle.
An
on the
Accord
road.
is not bigger than a
Not
Camry
anymore.
The most popular car on the planet
Oh well. Okay.
is the Ford Focus.
Oh, right on.
The Ford Focus
Really?
is the #1 car on the planet.
Who's driving it?
Brother, I had one.
I had one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Car fixed itself.
I had an Accord. It was fine.
The
it's
Focus
the same
is huge
size.
in Europe too because it's so small.
Oh, see, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's kind of where I was going to ask. Like, I don't see
Right.
a lot of focuses on,
You
the
know what we don't have
Portland
over here is
streets.
like the Peugeots.
Okay.
What?
The Peugeot. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Peugeot. No.
Yeah, there's a lot of what's the Pontiac is still alive in Australia under a different name too.
What?
Yeah, it's a big. God, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay. Now, I don't know what to make of this list. This is the top 10 sold vehicles of the year.
Holden. It's called the Pontiac is called a Holden.
Holden?
in Australia.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 10, the Tesla Model 3. Number 9, the Toyota Tacoma. Number 8, the Toyota Camry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Number
Camry's up there.
Number 7, the GMC Sierra. Number 8,
Really?
the Ram 1500. Number 5, the Honda CR-V. The number 4 vehicle, Tesla Model Y. Number 3, Toyota RAV4. Number 2, Chevy Silverado. And number 1, the Ford F-Series, F-150 to be exact. So of your top 10, you have the Tacoma, Sierra, Ram, Silverado, and F-Series. So you have 5 of the top 10 are trucks.
in the
But
U.S.
That's best selling.
The most sold.
But what about the cars on the road?
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like,
also that's crazy. Those are best selling because almost everything in there, other than the Japanese imports, are stupid expensive. Have you seen the price of a full size pickup these days? Like $85,000-$90,000.
Yeah. See, I don't want what is sold on a year to year. I want to know what is the most popular car on the road.
You said the Tacoma was on there, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy to drive truck. That's a nice one. My brother has one.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Tacomas. But like what because I like the Camry, because Toyotas last forever, right? Like they're on the road for like you see some like what?
Mine's been having issues.
Like in the night, you can see some of those Camrys from like the 90s still out on the highway. It's crazy.
Oh God, yeah, you can't kill them.
No, but I want to know what the most driven car in America is. What is that right now? Like how many are on the road right now in America?
I bet you it's a Civic.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's the most stolen car in the world.
Oh, I see. I would have thought that would be the Kias, because the Kia Boys is a thing.
Well, the Honda Civic is the most stolen car in the world because you can literally just like stick a piece of metal in it and start it.
I think the Kia's it's a USB port or something like that.
God.
Yeah, it's super weird. I'm surprised Tesla's as high as it is, because Tesla's I think of as being spendy.
Number one, they are. Number two, you get outside of like the West Coast. Like when we were in when we went to DC, remember? I even mentioned it. I go, I haven't seen a Tesla in 2 days. It was such a random thing. Like there wasn't. I finally saw one when we were out on a scooter trip, and I was like, oh, a Tesla.
Yeah,
because they're so abundant here on the West Coast.
Maybe that's why Elon's getting his foot in DC. Wants to sell him some Teslas. All right.
Vancouver Ford text line. Quick to point this out. A lot of those pickups are fleet vehicles.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great call.
But even on the fleet vehicle one, it's those tall, skinny vans, the Sprinter van. Like that's the thing I would think would be like the most popular vehicle in the country right now, like on the road. Those Sprinter vans are freaking every small business that's a blue collar job.
Yeah,
they have one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell, my dad's got like 3 of them.
Okay.
I mean, but I'm saying this like a small business, like they're just everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna keep looking this most common car on the road.
Yeah, it keeps getting into the sales stuff. I tried to find it too, and it's just that's nothing but sales. But pivoting back to sports here a little bit, because that's what we do here.
Let's get it.
Let's dive into our first little bit of NFL draft coverage. I should say the NFL draft pre-draft coverage. And the best thing about this period of time, not just in the NFL, but in sports leading into a draft, you can find an anonymous scout or front office executive, somebody who's not going to put their name to something, who will say anything and everything about any potential prospect that exists. I do this every year when I cover the NBA draft. It doesn't matter where they are. Like I know people right now who would not take Cooper Flagg first overall. Guys have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years.
Are they not good at their job?
Look, I'm just saying. You will find whatever opinion you want.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough. It's out there. So we have a 2025 NFL draft quarterback poll. This is from CBS Sports. Anonymous scouts surveyed on their top prospects and who scares them and some day 3 sleepers. There's been the 2 names everybody obviously talks about is Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders.
As the top quarterbacks.
As the top quarterbacks in this draft.
Yep.
The thing that has been stunning to me over the last week, maybe 10 days, Jackson Dart has gone from like early to mid second round to middle of the first round.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a good
Senior
showing
Bowl.
at the Senior Bowl, but I think it says more about the class, and teams that need a quarterback will go out and they'll get a quarterback at any cost, right? You could see a team skip a quarterback early, and then this is what teams at the back end of the draft always do. Like if you're Philly or you're Kansas City or you're any team at the Washington and you're at the back end of that first round, what you do is you trade out, pick up some more mid-round assets because you are really good at drafting in that 3rd or 4th, 5th round.
Also,
And
Buffalo,
then you sit
stop trading with the Chiefs.
and you go back in the draft and you say, all right, Tennessee, you don't want to go and invest in Cam Ward early or Shedeur Sanders because you don't think that drop-off is that significant between them and Jackson Dart. All right, we'll move up, but we'll take one of your picks in the later rounds. Usually that is what we see happen quite often. I mean, New England did that for years, right? They would just trade out of the first round because then when you have a team that is 31st or 32nd in the draft, you have salary cap, you're in a salary cap crunch, and at that point you get in a second round pick to where you're like,
1 year less guarantee.
Unless you have a guy that you're like, no, we want that 5th year. We're going to keep in right where we're at. But you can use that as leverage to say, hey, Tennessee, by the way, if you want Jackson Dart, we're taking calls on him. People are wanting to move up, and we're listening. And then, boom, that happens. That's how I could see Dart moving into that first round because the red flags on all of these quarterbacks
are real.
They're real. Every single one of them.
And it's the mock drafts have had Cam Ward #1 overall really until 2 weeks ago. And not even just among quarterbacks, but as the #1 draft pick in this draft.
Well,
class.
because we know Shedeur isn't going to go to Tennessee.
Exactly. But beyond that, I don't know if you've seen this shift recently of the last couple of days with the mocks that have come out. Travis Hunter has been #1 in almost everyone's mock.
And if he's not #1, Abdul Carter has been sliding up too.
That is the other name. And it makes things very interesting if those two...
The pass rusher from Penn State, Abdul Carter.
If those two end up going 1-2, what does that do to the quarterback race and all that, the changing of positions in the draft and slotting and everything that kind of goes along with that? Because this is, they had 6 different scouts and execs that they polled here. And they asked, who do you view as the best 3 quarterbacks in this class? Cam Ward finished #1 with 4 votes as #1, 2 votes as #2. Shedeur finished second with 2 votes at #1, 4 votes at #2. Jackson Dart finished at #3 with 5 votes as #3. Jalen Milroe finished 4th with 1 vote at #3. The interesting thing is, who do you like most outside of your top 3? It's Quinn Ewers with 2 votes, then Dart with 1, Kyle McCord with 1, Milroe with 1, and then Tyler Shuck of Louisville.
Dude, Tyler Shuck can sling it. And it is between the ears, the YOLO throws are exactly what people are concerned about. With Tyler Shuck, everything from his height, athleticism, his injury history, big red flag, his sometimes poor decision-making, that is alarming a lot of schools. But the thing about it is Tyler Shuck has never been on a team that has the elite weapons, right? And so there is a lure there for Tyler Shuck and what he can get. Kyle McCord is an interesting one, though, too, because he had a phenomenal year at Syracuse. I mean, he was really damn good at Syracuse. I don't see that being one where he moves up and becomes some dramatic shift and ends up being a, all-pro quarterback.
But there's a big difference from the Kyle McCord we saw at Ohio State and the Kyle McCord we saw at Syracuse as far as what he was entrusted to do and what he was allowed to do.
But I also think that being around that amount of talent and the struggles that he did have, that is also a bit concerning for anybody wanting to be on Kyle McCord. What I thought was interesting was the way that they framed all of these high-level quarterbacks, because when you talk about the red flags that come with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, there's a lot of talk, and one of the scouts said in this, he's quoted as saying, like, what makes Cam Ward great can also be his biggest downfall. And I've been saying that for the longest time. We see these roller coaster dips with Cam Ward's production, right? Where every year there's like a 3 to 4 game sample where you're like, what is this? What is he putting on tape? How in the world is this the same quarterback that we saw at the beginning of the year? And then at the end of the year, he snaps out of it, and it's like, holy smokes, he's back to being electric again. Sometimes he makes decisions that he relies way too much on his athleticism and his raw arm talent, and it gets him. And you can't do those sorts of things in the NFL. But also, for NFL evaluators are going, well, we said the same things about Patrick Mahomes. So can it be the same? And that's a dangerous game to play. Because the big difference is Cam Ward going #1 overall and Patrick Mahomes going 15th overall.
Playing behind Alex Smith.
There's a big difference there because it was Andy Reid who drafted him. It was the Kansas City Chiefs with their player development and the people that they had around him. There is a Big difference.
And I mean,
System,
Jalen Hurts, going in the second round, when
system,
expectations,
culture, expectations,
Mhm.
all of those things matter when you're drafting one of these guys. With Shedeur Sanders, they said he has average size and athleticism, and he does not have high-level arm strength. Yeah. I mean, Shedeur's good. Don't get me wrong. What is Shedeur great at? What is Shedeur Sanders great at?
He's not a high level athlete when you're talking about a quarterback.
Nope.
While he does have a good arm, it's not the best arm
It
you've
is
ever
not
seen.
elite. Nope. He takes sacks instead of throwing the
Throwing
ball
away.
away. I mean, they're like what Shedeur does at an elite level is I think he is an organizer,
Mhm.
which is a big part of
Yeah,
it's
no.
a huge part of being a quarterback. And
He's
does
got it
a
between the
decent job
ears
at
as
that.
far as the stuff.
But
You don't
there's-
ever see him get rattled in that sense.
Also, as a quarterback, though, being that organizer
Mm-hmm.
is making sure up front you're getting your guys in line too, and you're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And every sack that he took was not his fault.
No.
But every sack he took was not his offensive line's fault
No.
either. And there's questions.
Finding
there.
out the difference between the two is an interesting spot to be.
Yeah, and
And then, of course, we also have the Jalen Milroe discussion as far as he's the quarterback this year who people are asking, is he going to change positions?
yeah, man, I just don't know.
Well, his response to that was, you don't ask a zebra to be a dog.
I think Quinn Ewers and Jackson Dart are intriguing because you could get the better franchises who have a quarterback need or question, but it's not their top priority. Going and getting one of those two guys, right fit, right system, those guys could thrive.
Look, I've said this off air. I want the Raiders to take the best possible player available at number 6. And if Jackson Dart is there at the beginning of the second round, go get him.
Yeah. It could work.
That's-
Him and Chip would be good. There was a quote on Dylan Gabriel, though, about being a late round guy. I think it's the greatest quote.
Oh, yeah.
The guy said, one of the scouts said, the Dolphins should just take him as a knockoff Tua. He's left-handed, throws from every arm angle. I guess he's Hawaiian,
Yeah, he's
too.
probably kid.
You got that. But it's like
You don't have to change a ton.
you really wouldn't. They're both not very tall. The system and the style would work. Like to call him a knockoff Tua, I think is Dylan Gabriel can sling it, and that dude is smart as hell. But he just doesn't have the physical traits that because Tua is
Tua's built like a tank.
big ass dude.
Yeah.
But if you're Miami, like
It
there
makes
is
sense.
a big difference catching the ball from a left-handed quarterback to a right-handed quarterback, and with the amount that
The
Tua
ball literally
is coming
spins the other way.
in and out of the lineup, like it wouldn't be the worst thing in
No.
the world for Miami to be like.
And your
"Yeah, we're
offensive
gonna go
line is
take
set
him,"
up that
like,
way.
It would make a ton of sense to go and get Dylan Gabriel and say, we're going to have a lefty. We know he's going to be smart, and he's just going to be a facilitator, and he's not going to be a guy that we're relying on to walk in and be a starter at any moment.
There you go. All right, that's our first little dabble into the NFL draft. Obviously, the Underwear Olympics kick off here in 2 weeks. Coming up next, it's Wednesday, 2:15. It's time for Fact or Fluke. Handful of things we're looking at. Are they facts or are they flukes? Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
A long 1080 The Fan.
It's 2:15-ish on a Wednesday. Time for Fact or Fluke. A handful of things we looking at, whether they are factual or they're just a little bit fluky. Up first, DeAndre Ayton is going to miss at least 4 weeks.
Ooh.
Unlikely probably the rest of the season. With that in mind, fact or fluke, Donovan Clingan will step into a more significant role and be successful for the Portland Trailblazers as the starting center.
Boy, that a lot of it hinges on who else is he playing with for the whole stretch. I think in the immediacy, I think he does have a more successful run. When they start shutting down other veterans around him, if the tank is back to being on, and you see Ant get shut down, you see JG get shut down, then all of a sudden, no, he will not be nearly as successful based on the fact of the people who he will be around. So I will say fact because in the immediacy it's going to happen.
I'm going to take the question a little bit further because it's kind of an esoteric question of like he will be more significant and successful. I think the time he will get will be more significant because he will get 20 minutes a night. And I've already seen people texting in and replying to tweets about, good, now he can play 30 minutes. He can't play 30 minutes a night. Yeah. It's not something he's capable of doing just yet. But can he play 24 knowing that he needs to be good for 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can. I think that's the growth that you're looking for. And I think that part of it will be more significant. The successful part of it depends on what you call success.
Follow up to Will. Do you know what esoteric means?
No.
Okay.
And I don't think you need to use dollar words when a 10-cent one will do.
Yeah, it means understood by few.
Mm.
All right. Fact or fluke, the Eagles will return to the Super Bowl before the Kansas City Chiefs return to the Super Bowl. When they went for a three-peat, man, they've been to AFC Conference Championship game one after the other. They are basically in the Super Bowl every year. Will the Eagles be back to the Super Bowl before the Kansas City Chiefs?
Always difficult to say because it's always difficult to get back despite what we've seen from the Chiefs and Eagles over the last 4 years. But I'm going to say yes because the pathway to the Super Bowl is only going to really have the Lions and Commanders in the NFC as far as the up-and-coming.
Niners are going to be...
Well, let's see what
healthy.
they are.
They stay healthy. They'll be...
But there's also been some rumblings around Brock Purdy.
Oh, Debo having trade demands as well.
And that's where I'm sitting there looking going, that window might be closing a little bit on the 49ers. Yeah. But the path to the NFC is significantly straighter than it is in the AFC.
Yeah, I agree with the fact, too, because AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals, I do not believe they will be as bad as they were this year. Just based on law of averages will tell you those one-score games are going to swing back their way.
It's literally what happened to the Vikings. They were god-awful in one-score games last year. Phenomenal this year.
You have the Bills, who are going to be good yet again next year. There are, I think that there's up-and-coming teams in their own division, too. Year 2 of the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh will be significantly better. It looked like the building blocks are there for the Denver Broncos to be far more competitive moving forward. The Baltimore Ravens are not going anywhere. Inherently, the road is tougher in the AFC. So I'm going to go fact on that one.
There you go. All right. The Oregon Ducks are national title ready heading into 2025.
Well, this one comes on the heels of Ari Wasserman and Andy Staples did a kind of a 2025 preview already of Oregon, and Ari Wasserman had this to say about the Ducks.
I don't know how much most people spend watching Tulane football, but our guy, Cole Kublik, who watches a ton of film, and I believe maybe on the show here in the near future, listed Hughes already as a top 10 returning player next year. So when you combine firepower at running back to replace Jordan James the next day, that's how Oregon operates, man. Jordan James off the league, the next day Hughes is in the bag. Hughes' brothers with Naeem Offord, the 5-star defensive back who's coming in. They've got Evan Stewart and DeCorian Moore coming back. They have Dante Moore and Austin Novosad, who was a Baylor commitment who flipped to Oregon at the last, is still on the team. So he gives them another look at quarterback potentially if things don't work out with Dante Moore. The defense should be very good again. I'm looking at a team that legitimately could win the national championship as soon as this year.
That's a pretty high praise from Ari Wasserman. And, boy, that's a tough question because they go into replacing guys like Jordan James. Dylan Gabriel is going to be very hard to replace, even though it was just 1 year that he was even on campus. I think Tez Johnson is a huge hole, but the biggest one that I don't see very many people talking about, and this will be interesting because this comes down to player development and how well the young guys that they have brought in, they've grown, they've developed, and we've seen them grow, is on the defensive line on the interior. Amari Washington played a lot of football for them this past year, but losing Jamari Caldwell, losing Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon was one of the best interior defensive linemen in the entire country this year.
He's probably going to be a first-round pick.
That is a massive hole to fill, and there's two of them in the middle of that defense. But here is where I think that we've talked about this before, and Staples and Wasserman, when they were talking about the Ducks, went into this as well. This year, we were talking about Ohio State being far and away, clear-cut, the best roster in college football. Is there that team heading into this season? Heading into 2025?
If I was going to pick one, it would be Texas.
They lost a lot, too.
They're losing a lot.
Yeah. And so it's a different year in college football this year. So, this is what Dan Lanning has been trying to build. This is going to be a more condensed year where there's going to be a lot of teams in that competition.
I'm going to say fluke on the one thing. And that is, they've demonstrated an ability to turn it over incredibly well between Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. Without having seen Dante Moore at the helm, whereas at Texas, the quarterback that's going to step in there, Arch Manning, while not as decorated either, I think there's significantly more faith in him than there is in Dante Moore. And that's really the only thing that I'm sitting here going, because with Gabriel, you're like, yeah, he's one of the most accomplished quarterbats in the history of the game.
He's played a ton of football.
And the same with Bo Nix. It was like when he came back for year 2, you're like, yeah, no, he's going to be a Heisman favorite. Like you kind of, and that's going to be a change. You had 3 straight years of incredible quarterback play.
Yep.
And I'm not saying Dante Moore can't be great.
No, it was huge to have him on campus for a year.
And that's where I think the eyebrow is up, but it's not a I don't know concern, but it's
a big question.
It's a question.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm going to say fluke is that part of it right there is the quarterback position just has me raising an eyebrow. So there you go. That's Fact or Fluke every Wednesday at 2:15. Coming up next, is Kevin Durant the greatest scorer the NBA's ever seen? But first, here's Big Will Betts with the SportsCenter update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club. Good or bad weather, the golf course is always the driest around. Download the Langdon Farms app today to get all the latest news and specials. First on the Fan, the Blazers look to close out the first half of their regular season with a win tonight, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. No DeAndre Ayton. It just came out on X from the Blazers X account. He will be out at least 4 weeks with a left calf strain. Denver is favored by 11.5. The total is set for 231.5. Tip-off scheduled for 6. Over in college basketball, number 3 Duke takes on new ACC foe, the Cal Golden Bears, in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Freshman phenom Cooper Flagg leads the way for the Blue Devils, averaging 19.5 points per game. Duke is favored by 23.5 points. Tip-off at 6. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Angels third baseman Anthony Rendon will miss significant time this year due to injury. Rendon is having hip surgery according to the organization. Rendon has only played in 205 games while missing 438 games since the 2021 season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the holidays?
Over the last handful of weeks, the Phoenix Suns have had some pretty big milestones for Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Devin Booker becoming the all-time Suns leading scorer here in Portland, where while he wanted to do it at home in Phoenix, he did do it here in Portland. And Portland public address announcer Mark Mason made sure during a stoppage to announce that Devin Booker had become the Suns' all-time leading scorer and let him have a little bit of a moment with his family. It was a pretty cool little
it was.
deal. And Devin Booker went out of his way to thank Mark Mason publicly for doing that, because that is a big deal. A big milestone that just happened the other night. Kevin Durant broke the 30,000 point mark for his career. It's a number that puts him within earshot of being top 5 all time, which would knock Michael Jordan out of that spot.
Oh, really?
He needs 2,200 more points, and if he plays basically 2 years, he'll get there.
The only people to have 30,000 points in NBA history: LeBron James, obviously all-time leading scorer. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You have Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki, and Wilt Chamberlain. That's the list. That's it right there.
Yeah.
And KD joining that list, it's amazing to me that KD, in his reputation and his standing in the league, there was a time where he was regarded as who's better, LeBron or KD.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like nobody even thinks about Kevin Durant as being in that conversation. There's only 2 players of that list that we were talking about with 30,000 points. There's only 2 of them with 30,000 points and 2,000 3-pointers made, and it's LeBron and KD.
It's a short list. I'm actually just running a quick filter here just to see how many players. It's going to be a short list of in NBA history with at least 20,000 points who have shot 50% from the field and 38% from 3. Because I have said this, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face. Kevin Durant is the best scorer this league has ever seen. Yes, better than Michael Jordan. The efficiency with which he scores is unrivaled. He is a nearly career 50, 40, 90 shooter. He is 50.3% from the 51.3% from the field, 38.8 from 3, and 88.2 from the line for his career.
And you add that to, he has a signature shoe with Nike that is one of the top selling shoes that they have in their basketball line. He's regarded as a star. He's won an MVP. He's won 2 finals MVPs. He's an 11-time All-NBA, 14-time All-Star. He's been a scoring champion 4 times in his career. But it just seems like people have always cooled on his legacy, and I think that it all goes back to the insecurities of Kevin Durant. It's the burner accounts.
It's the failing to embrace what everybody wanted him to be, and you can get mad at him for it. And a lot of people did. Hell, I did. I mean, the whole idea of him not leaning into Durantula or Slim Reaper and being that stone cold killer while having like the thing about his game is it is aesthetically pleasing. Like it's a 7-footer between the legs, cross pull up, and it's just and there's nothing you can do about it. It's a beautiful game.
But the thing about KD that's always been conflicting within himself is that it's always like he is a Batman, but where he has always been at his best is as a Robin, but he's always wanting to join up with other guys, but also wanting to be the guy when his best role is when he's not. Like when he was the
best player on the Warriors.
He was. He was. But that doesn't mean he was a leader of the Warriors.
No,
and that's where it is. Is like
it reminds me of Rasheed.
You wanted him to have the ball at the end of the game, but it wasn't like he was the guy that you were like, the ball all the time. That was still Steph.
Yeah.
That was still Steph to have the ball in his hand. And it's not just because Steph is a point guard. It is.
Steph's not a guy with the ball in his hands. That's not what he is.
But it was like, if you needed that last shot, yeah, you're going to trust KD.
Yeah.
You want KD to have the ball because he is a pure scorer. Because with Steph, he was going to pull up, he was going to shoot a 3, right? But KD was like, where's it going to come from? He could do it at the rim. He could shoot a 3. He mid-range hero.
He's the best mid-range shooter in the history of basketball.
He is incredible and versatile. But there's always that conflict with KD. Like, I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy. Then people say, you are the guy. And he's like, I don't really want all that attention. It's such a weird dynamic with him that his legacy is always going to be kind of tilted on it. That, the insecurity of Kevin Durant is going to lead to the fact that he won't be appreciated quite like he probably should when it's all said and done, even though he's going to go down as like a top 15 player of all time.
40% of Kevin Durant's shots in his career, roughly, I should say. Let's see, it's 21.1 and a 19.8. So, yeah, 40% of his total shots come between 10 feet and the three-point line, so inside the three-point line. Nearly half of his shots come in mid-range. He is shooting 48%.
That's crazy.
On mid-range shots where it's not a slight diet. Nearly half of his shots come in that range. There's nothing you can do about that with a 7-footer.
No.
He's finally towards the latter part of his career. He started to shift his 3-point volume, and that was kind of like the knock on him. Was like, dog, take a step back, take a step back and just shoot the three. Because if you look at him early in his career, 15%, 16%, 21%, it stayed under 30 until his second to last year in Oklahoma City, where 34% of his shots were from three. By the way, he shot 40% from three that year.
Beesh.
But he's not a guy who's taking 50+% of his shots from three. He's a guy that is I want to say he's a 70+% finisher at the rim, if I remember right. I'm sorry, my bad. 75% finisher at the rim.
Jeez.
So the guy shoots 75% at the rim, 48% from mid-range, and 40% from three.
My goodness.
Offensively, there is not a weakness in his game. And you can talk about Jordan being the best player, and I'm not going to argue with you. I still think it's LeBron. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. It's whatever. But for me, there is no debate on who the best scorer in the history of the NBA is. It is this man.
KD. Will he be remembered that way?
No, because
he won't.
as Brian Windhorst was on ESPN this morning, his exact quote was, Kevin Durant is probably going to get traded this summer. He knows it, the Suns know it, and the rest of the NBA knows it. Kevin Durant is going to spend his last 3 years in the NBA being the most overly qualified mercenary in the history of the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's going to go like the big shot Bob Horry route, where he'll bounce around.
While he's averaging 27, 5, and 5, shooting 50, 40, 90.
But all Big Shot Bob did was come off the bench and just
knock down a corner
threes on people in the most critical times.
It's not like Kevin Durant has fallen off.
No, and that is the incredible part about him too.
He's averaging 27, 6, and 4 on 53, 40. It's actually his worst free throw shooting career outside of his rookie year. He's at 82%.
Well, in his rookie year, he averaged 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, he has not averaged under 25 points a game.
No. And he has led the league in scoring 4 times.
That's crazy.
His MVP season 2013-14, thanking his mom, that season he averaged 32, 7, and 6.
And I think one of the crazy things about KD too is he is one of the best scorers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He also averages a block and a steal a game.
Yeah. For his career.
Yes, for his career. And so when it's all said and done, where is he going to be at on the all-time list of, because you're looking at 14 years already, 15 years already.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he going to be at the end of his career when he plays 3 or 4 more seasons, and where is he going to be at on the steals and blocks list? It's nuts to think about how effective he has been throughout the entirety of his career.
All right, we wrap up today's show. I don't know if you got to take a look at this. There's the all-name team for this recruiting class. I thought we were going to have a little bit of fun going through some of these names as we wrap up today's show. Coming up next year on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. What feels like it was once just a Key and Peele sketch is now turning into reality, as every recruiting class coming into football now has a heaping pile of names that feel like they're made up.
The all-name team is always one of my favorites. When we used to do the Bi-Mart Game of the Week here on The Fan, I would compile a list of the best names on each week of the high school football slate that we did. And there's always some great ones. And I love a good creative name. A lot of great nicknames that are out there, too.
Indeed.
I mean, it makes my heart warm when you get some awesome names where parents just lean into it, or you get a kid and it's like, you're just like, oh, yeah, we're going to nickname him Boogie, and he's just going to go by that for the rest of his life.
Well, I mean, you got Boogie Flan down at Arkansas. Boogie's a good name.
Sure.
I think my favorite name on this list, out of the University of Houston, Blake Hogshooter.
How that guy is not playing at Arkansas is incredible to me.
Like Storm Duck not being at Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Wes Mallard went and played for the Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Storm Duck needed to go and do it too. This year, there's good ones, but I think that this may be one of the down years that we've had. You know, Grant Bierman is going to Illinois. I mean,
that fits.
Yeah.
That fits.
That feels like he should be at Wisconsin, though. You know, Bierman. Go to Wisconsin.
Virginia Tech's Shamarius Peterkin.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is a Triceratrix, if there ever was one.
Mm-hmm. San Jose State has a guy named Sir Bible.
Sir with 2 R's.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a proper Sir.
I'm a big fan of Hype Grand going to Ohio.
Oregon, Vander Plug.
Tight end.
There you go.
Going to Oregon. Vander Plug seems like it should be like just a last name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full name there.
Full name, Vander. First name, Vander.
Yeah.
I'm good with that name. It's a fun name. Vander's a good, strong first name.
Yeah. Like, do you think they were like dabbling with Evander and they're like, we're just gonna go Vander?
Yeah, Holyfield, Kane.
There was a Plug that played. Or no, never mind. That was a Flug. There was a kid that played quarterback at Sunset, and I think he went to Jacksonville University. His name was Willie Flug.
Ooh,
that's a great quarterback.
That's a great quarterback name.
It's an elite.
That sounds like a
name.
movie quarterback name.
Yeah, Willie Flug. Could spin it.
Samford's Cannon Pig.
Again, what are you doing, Arkansas? If you're not going to win the SEC, win the SEC with names.
Yeah.
You could have had 2 on this list.
A hog shooter and a pig.
And you missed. That is a big whiff. You know, Sir Bible, why aren't you playing at Notre Dame?
Yeah. Right?
I mean, Marcus Freeman, you got 105 scholarships. Use one on Sir Bible, please.
I mean, Cannon Pig and Blake Hogshooter, if they're not offensive linemen, I'm very disappointed.
Well, there's a guy, I don't know. Cannon Pig, that seems like he's probably a skill position guy. You know?
It's a tight end.
He's a tight end. Yeah, it's a tight end. I mean, that kind of fits, though, because you're kind of a skill guy, but you're also a lineman, so you're a hog. But
he's
you also
more
have
of a
skill guy
traditional,
name.
too. Like, he likes to block.
God, he's from Alabama, too.
He's proud of his blocking prowess.
Have you
Arkansas State made him an offer, but not Arkansas.
Have you broke down the film of Cannon Pig?
No, I'm just making this all up based on his name. I don't even know if is he actually a tight end?
He is a tight end.
He is.
Yeah.
Look, see, I told you. Look at how smart I am.
Blake Hogshooter is a wide receiver.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, but hear me out on this. If he plays for Arkansas, the referees cannot penalize him if he goes with the finger guns.
Finger guns?
If he's hog shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, you score
my name.
But no, it's a wasted name.